This is a very serious situation. And if we had a real news or real press or media, we don't have that because they won't talk about this. But if we had a real press, it would be exposed. And you know, the beauty of exposing it is it's like a cleansing action. When it gets exposed, it'll get fixed. That's when it'll get fixed. But people don't talk about it. And I'll tell you who's talking about the thousands of people that are fleeing South Africa right now.
So, because Donald Trump is the kind of man that he is, that is why a lot of black men chose to vote for Donald Trump, because of his boldness and his matter-of-factness. He had the president of South Africa in the Oval Office yesterday, and he played this particular video while the president of South Africa was in the Oval Office. If you have a retirement portfolio, consider incorporating gold and silver and other precious metals into your retirement portfolio. For more information about incorporating gold and silver and other precious metals into your retirement portfolio, go to thebiblicalconservative.com/gold or click on the link in the description.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable member,
you want to do,
Speaker,
you can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa. Shoot to kill, Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
Ulipul, sizogo shaya, uzotuchulwa. Ulipul, sizogo shaya, uzobalega tu. Sizobatula, bazobalega tu. Sizobatula.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America.
number of the bought and paid for black bougie elite, that triumvirate that I talk about all the time, the ones that want to keep black people in a permanent state of victimhood. And as a reminder, you got the church plant pastors, you got the black civic organizations, you got the black Greek letter organizations, you got the Prince Hall Freemasons, you got the athletes, the entertainers, you got the media, and you got the politicians and academia. All of them conspire to keep black people in a permanent state of victimhood, right? So naturally you have these people upset, people like Roland Martin and people like that, because they are bought and paid for to hate Donald Trump. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, what he did yesterday with the president of South Africa and what he's done in the past with these world leaders is a boss kind of move. It's the kind of move that galvanizes his base. It's the kind of move that gives people more affirmation as to why they voted for him. Now, we can dispute whether or not there is true genocide going on in South Africa. I have friends of mine who are South African. I have friends of mine who are from other countries in Africa. And so there can be some dispute around what happens in the country of South Africa. I'm not there, so I can't speak to any type of credibility of those reports. But I have seen those videos of those people in leadership talking about killing white South Africans. But I want to bring it home here to America, because what we're seeing in South Africa is the same type of mentality, the same type of sentiment that the liberal establishment, that the black bougie elite wants the masses of black people to have. They want the masses of black people to be so angry, so galvanized, so upset, so mad at whiteness that they'll be willing to spark a revolution. They thought it would happen 5 years ago, honestly. They tried to do it with what happened with George Floyd. They really tried to do it. And in some cities, they were successful with destroying the inner cities where these black people live, because they don't care about the people that live in those cities. All they care about is the ushering in of their agenda. All they care about is the radicalization of America. That's why they push all this LGBTQ stuff. That's why they push all this whiteness stuff. That's why they continue to push and harp on slavery. They want to continue to plant the seeds of hate. That's why they tell every black person that lives in America they can't make it, that America has this knee on your neck, that this system you can't get around. If you are a Christian and you're saying this stuff, you are lying. Because as a Christian, there's no man, no system that can limit you. But they want you to get away from your Christianity and get into this African spirituality stuff, to get into this Greek letter stuff, to get into this stuff that does not align with the Word of God. That's what they want. And so, therefore, they will push this attitude. They will push this stuff on black people. And so what President Trump did yesterday has angered a lot of the black bougie elite, because he exposed the agenda. He exposed what they're looking to do here in America. These black bougie elite people want the exact same thing to happen in America. They want black people, because they're not going to do it themselves. They'll talk about, oh, whiteness. They'll talk about how white people are holding us down. They'll talk about this and talk about that. But they themselves will not actually go through with the revolution. They want to employ you to do it. They want to employ you to be a part of their quote-unquote revolution. And so that's why they can identify with what that guy is saying in South Africa. They're not bold enough to say it. I wish they'll be bold enough to say it, honestly. I wish they would get the courage to come out and say what they really want to do. They really want to have the same kind of genocide, the same kind of stuff happen here in America. But they're too afraid to say it, because their end goal is not for the uplift of black people. Because if they were for the uplifting of black people, they wouldn't be going around and telling black people that you're a victim, that you can't make it. They'll be speaking the truth that yes, you can make it in America. America is the only country where you can make it based upon your merit as a black person. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that in these other countries, these communist countries, that they despise black people, that black people don't have a shot to make it in those countries. But they won't tell you that. They want to use your anger and your frustration with your lot in life based upon the decision you've made against you and point you towards the white man, and point your bayonet, your anger, your powder keg towards the white man instead of looking internal and saying, no, let me assume and take responsibility for my own actions and become the person that I want to be. No, it's easier to blame somebody else. It's easier to point the finger at somebody else, at some boogeyman, instead of taking responsibility for your own actions. And that's what they want to do. So what President Trump did yesterday was actually expose the agenda of the black bougie elite here in America. But they're just too afraid to admit it. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.